I will move to Japan. And basically, I will go there because I found work inside Japan. Well, it's just a paid internship, but this is my starting point for moving to Japan. And from there on, I want to start building a life inside Japan. And basically, in this video, I want to talk about my experiences, the miseries I had while finding this internship, and the online meeting I also had, which was in Japanese with around about 8 members. I think it was the time in my life I was never so nervous in my life. But yeah, I kind of want to share some information because I think it can help people that, well, want to move to Japan. Whether you just want to have an internship there, maybe you want to find permanent work there, well, you still have to get in contact with some companies. So maybe the story of how I found this internship will be helpful to you. Well, this will be a 3-part video series. So in the second part, I will talk about general tips about finding work in Japan because I have some friends that found work and I also have some experience. And in the third video, I will talk about visa. But this video will first just be about, well, my experience that I had. So yeah, grab some snacks, a drink, and let's get right into it. So yeah, as some of you know, I don't know if I already shared that information on my YouTube channel, but my study combination at university is basically modern Japanese studies, so Japanese, and media communication. And this is basically everything that is related to media. So, for example, public relations, social media marketing, also like communication when companies inside some kind of crisis or something like this, communication inside a company. Well, that's basically my stuff. And when I'm at the end of my study course, and I saw, well, there's some credit points left. And usually in some study courses, not just in mine, I know that is also possible for other study courses, you can get credit points for having an internship. This was something that was not really obvious. So many people at my university, from like, I don't know, 100 people I met in my lifetime in my university, I just know one other person that did an internship in Japan and got credit points for this. So basically, at my university, we have some part in our bachelor, we need like 180 points, and around about 12 points, we can do basically many things. And in my study course, if you can do a project or like some kind of small thesis, and I thought, well, while doing a project, I can also do an internship, right? And when I do an internship, I can also do this internship in Japan, right? So, well, I was talking to my teachers and stuff like this, and I said, okay, if you can give off some kind of certificate, how many hours you worked, you will get 1 credit point for 30 hours of work. And I was like, wait, I can work somewhere, get paid, and even get credit points? And I was like, well, that's what I will do. And I thought about this. Well, I can do an internship in Japan, in Germany, for example, at a Japanese company. But I thought, well, with this internship, I also have the opportunity to go to Japan, right? So that's when I started to search for internships. And basically, if you already search for an internship, well, you will just type in the internet internship Japan, or you will type something like Nihon intern, or something like Tokyo intern, Tokyo internship, or well, in my case, because I wanted to do a long internship, I typed something like Choki intern. So, in case you don't know, Choki intern is usually an internship that lasts about 6 months to 1 year. And this is already the first problem that I encountered. Because usually in Japan, you don't do Choki intern, you do Tanki intern. And Tanki intern is basically, well, it's just 1 week. And I don't know how it's your country, but in Germany, for example, well, if you do an internship, you will do it around about like 3 months or 6 months. And well, like I said, in Japan, it's not that usual to do long-term internships. But lately, Japan is changing a bit too, and there are many foreign companies in Japan too. So they want to take foreign workers too. So the idea of taking people longer than 2 or 3 months or just a week became more popular. But I have to tell you right up front, it's not common. So if you're searching for something like this, it's better to search at foreign companies. So for example, in my case, the first companies that I wrote to were like Volkswagen or Bosch and many like different German companies, German subsidiaries that are in Japan. And well, basically it depends on the company, but usually you have to file out you search for the application form, and then usually it's, well, like applying for a job too. You need to send your CV. In case of one company, they asked me many different questions that I just needed to answer them in the email letter. Um, in case of uh, like another company, I just needed to fill out their form in the internet. And usually, in my case, I'm from Germany. So when I want to go to Japan, well, I have pretty much many visa options. So I can use a designated activities visa or a Tokutei Katsudo visa that is basically used for internships usually. And well, because I because I'm still a university student, I can get this kind of visa. There are some other regulations, but basically you still need to be in university to get this kind of visa that you can do this. And usually it's written that you need to be in a Japanese university, but well, you can also be in a German university. You just need to have the status as a student. So yeah, that's basically what my, well, surroundings were. And I have to tell you, I was writing many things to many companies. And now we come to the second problem, and it's at least at the bigger companies, their payment is really bad. So there are many internships where they will not pay you anything. There, like, I was really shocked about this. You see, I was searching in the internet, and usually the first thing that I found was there are many sites. I don't know how they came up, but they, to me, they seem like scam. You need to pay them money monthly, so they will give you an internship opportunity in Japan. So you pay someone money so you can go to Japan and work there without getting any money. And I was like, that sounds like modern slavery to me, to be honest. Even worse than slavery. I need to pay to be a slave, you know? I don't know. And then I was searching, okay, thinking, okay. And then I was looking, okay, what are other companies paying? And I have like two kind of friends that went to Japan too and did an internship. And one of them got 50,000 yen, and another one got 150,000 yen. And well, basically, if you translate it in euro, 50,000 yen is around about 300, I think. Well, never mind. I will just put it somewhere here. And if you know, this is for the Tokyo region. So if you want to survive in Tokyo, this is not enough. This is like actually not enough. So you can see I had a pretty rough start because I was like, wait, I have some money, but not enough money to like sustain myself half a year. And the bigger companies, I will not tell any names because I don't know, I don't want to get into some trouble, but the bigger companies' payment is actually kind of. And I was like, either I be a modern slave and pay money to be inside Japan, I get like the bare minimum inside Japan, or there was another option. I thought, well, maybe there are like some um, Japanese government related things, right? So I thought, well, if it's the government, maybe they're more generous. Yeah. And they give you about like 10 euro a day. And I read that on their website and I was like, I work 8 hours at your company and you're like, yeah, you have 10 euros. That's not even enough for my lunch and my evening food. So you see, this situation with internships is kind of complicated. And well, I have to say this too, I'm in the part of social sciences. If you're doing something, I don't know, in Germany we call it MINT, something related to engineering or IT, something in this kind of like technical term or chemistry or something like this, then your usual internship payment will be higher. And it's easier to find internships. I heard of numbers from 200,000 to 400,000 a month. And this is really enough to live inside Japan. But anyway, back to my story. Well, I'm from the social sciences, so usually people will be like, um, not paying you that much. And I was getting kind of frustrated, to be honest. Also, many companies that I wrote something was like, well, they don't adapt to your study schedule. Basically, I was writing with one company and they said, well, this looks good. Yeah. can you start from June? And I was like, my university goes until September. Like, want me to quit my courses now and go to Japan? And that was basically it. So yeah, it's kind of a rough start. Um, but anyway, then I decided. Um, so then I came to a point where I was like, okay, what should I do? Because if you want to find work in a foreign country, you should ideally also be there. That's also something that I recognize, that many internships and many jobs required you to be there. You weren't even able to input a foreign address in their on their website or stuff like this. You need a Japanese address or you need a Japanese phone number. And usually you don't have this when you're a foreigner, right? But then I was thinking something. Because 1 year ago, I was working for a Japanese company at some kind of event. And at those events, every company has kind of their booth. And there I worked for a company that is inside Kyoto and helped out at their booth for like 1 week. But the thing is that, well, out of personal reasons, I want to go in the greater Tokyo area and not to Kyoto. And then I thought, well, I mean, what do I have to lose? I can just write them a message, right? Because at that booth, we were working together with another Japanese company. Well, I mean, it's two different companies, but because they went to Germany, they went together with like three, four Japanese companies and kind of use the same booth, but they sell different products and they're like different companies. So I was like, wait, they're from Tokyo, right? And then I was writing a like really polite Japanese business email with like, お忙しいところ申し訳ありません or and like, 何々さんお久しぶりですね. That's like, like the really formal and strict Japanese business email with a よろしくお願いします at the end and stuff like this. But yeah, I wrote that email and I got like an answer instantly, really like 1 or 2 hours after that. And she was like, yeah, it's nice to hear from you again. And I just had a meeting with this company. What a coincidence. And she told me that they said, yeah, we remember this guy we worked together with. And yeah, let's, we were happy to have him for an internship, but we need to see if, well, they wrote something like, wait, what was it again? 条件が合うならいいですよ or something like this. Basically, if the circumstances are right, we will take him. And that is already one good tip that I can give many people is, well, that is something that I saw when you apply for a job, if it's in Japan or in your own country, it doesn't matter. At the end, you're just a number and you just have your resume that speaks for yourself. And I have to say, my GPA isn't even that bad. I have a pretty good history of work and also like scholarships too, but still, that isn't enough to find a job easily. And I have to say that the best bet you have is that you really try to look in your surroundings. Is there anything that I can do related to my field? And I have to say, the reason why I found this internship, I can already say this now, is because I was doing a good impression at this 1 week work for the Japanese company. Because I don't know, for me, I just went there to talk Japanese basically. Like, I wasn't that interested in the company or the products they produced. But for me, I wanted to learn, uh, see, okay, how good is my Japanese in a business context? And I was pretty good, like talking with everyone. Of course, I didn't understand everything, but if I didn't understand something, I asked again. And well, I was talking to everyone basically, kind of. So, in this way, I made a good impression, and that's how I also got into the situation of having a connection to that company. And basically, then I got from that person I worked before for, I got like the mail address for that company in Tokyo I wanted to work for, and then basically we just began like exchanging emails. And Well, I told them about my situation, that I need some credit points for my university and stuff like this. And they said, yeah, our company is like this. You will work in this environment. This will be your job. And I was kind of lucky because, well, my study course is related to communications, like I told you before. So usually my work will have to do with either social media, I will be a part of marketing, public relations. That is like the stuff that I can do, or like journalism related work. But trust me, you don't want to be a journalist in Japan. It's like really the place with the worst overwork hours you can have inside Japan, but that's a topic for another video. Anyway, I talked to that person and they had a PR person that was responsible for this. And they also have much sales inside Germany and also America. And well, if you see America's situation right now, they're not that popular right now inside the world with their politics. And so, well, they're kind of connected pretty well to Germany. So, in this case, well, I, as a German, cannot just help them with like PR or, well, with my study knowledge of PR. Well, I also can help them with translation works. Or if they need to call someone in Germany, if they need to write an email to someone in Germany, if they need to do stuff like this, well, I can help them there. And that is basically um, how I got in contact with them. And then, well, we wrote many things, and then they told me, yeah, we want to talk about some things in an online meeting. It's like, okay, well, what, who will be there in this meeting? Because usually when I have like a meeting or a talk company about some position, then usually they're like, well, 2 or 3 people, right? If it's a smaller company or if they take much value into your position, the company boss will be there, but that's not always the case. And then usually there will be like the person, the team leader, and the person that will be responsible for you, right? That's like usually the kind of concept. Because the team leader wants to see if you fit in the team, the person responsible for you wants to see if they can like work with you together and so on. And I was like, yeah, how many people will be there? And then she told me, well, the company person, me, and 6 other people. And I can tell you, when I read that message, I was like, so I need to go to an interview where usually I'm really, really struggling with, like everyone. I need to talk in Japanese, and there are 8 people there. So that was kind of like, I was nervous. I was really, really nervous. And well, I don't know. I tried to prepare a bit for that interview, like research some general things about the company, think about some other things. And basically, the interview was kind of like, yeah, we have much home office work here too. And well, we cannot offer you 40 hours a week. And well, is that okay for you? And they kind of tried to like tell me, well, is this internship really okay for you? Don't you want to go to like some German subsidiary or something like this? And well, basically, I needed to think about that again, but I was talking with them about some things, about the payment they give, about how the internship will look, about how the work will look, and so on and so on. And well, it was kind of complicated to find like a situation that is like easy for both, because you have to imagine, if you're a foreigner, you first have the visa problem. So the company needs to sponsor a visa for you. If the company doesn't have that much, well, let's say, experience with sponsoring visas, this can get complicated. Then, of course, and that is, I think, something that many people need to think about, you're not Japanese, you're a foreigner. So every basic task, even if you know Japanese pretty good, I wouldn't say my Japanese is bad, of course, far from perfect, but even though I know Japanese, well, I don't know general Japanese culture, talking culture, business culture. I don't know like writing an email and stuff can also be pretty exhausting. So what I want to say here is that, in my opinion, if you compare yourself to Japanese, if you compete for a position that the Japanese person could also do, you will always have to show much more effort and much more ability than that person, just because of that language barrier. And even if you understand everything, one thing that I also recognized in the interview is, even if you understand everything they say, you still need to then think about your own opinion. You then need to think about how to tell that opinion in Japanese. And then you also need to think about, well, how is usually an opinion told in Japanese? In which way is it told? Then you have other things like, well, who are you talking to? You need to use some more polite language. You cannot use your everyday Japanese and stuff like this. So, well, I could understand most of the interview, but I have to say that my main problem was having enough time to comprehend the information and then, well, give the right answer. Right answer in case of, well, have it rightly said. And yeah, so I would recommend you that, well, you give the company some reason where you as a foreigner can help them out. And in my case, it was they have some event in Germany too. So, well, I'm a German, I know German, so I can help them translating their public relations, communication stuff. I can help them to connect more with the German people there and stuff like this. And in return, when I'm in such Japan, they also like help me out a bit. And well, I have to say that's it's pretty nice of them that they also help me with the visa, right? Because there's some companies that will not do it for you. They will just say either you have a visa until now or we cannot take you. And anyway, well, we talked a bit about these things, and well, I was like pretty nervous. I kind of mixed up some grammars, and sometimes I didn't. Well, I tried to speak casual, and then I was like, wait, I need to speak polite, and so like this. So this was kind of how to say, well, stressful. But yeah, we talked about 1 hour, and then it was like over, and that's basically how I got the internship. So nearly at the end of the talk, the person told me, well, if you want to work here, we're all fine. So just tell us now if you want to do it or not. And usually I don't like to take a decision when I'm like nervous or like surrounded with people, because usually that will influence the decision, right? So in this case, I just said to them, well, I want to think about it one more time again, be really sure that I want to do it. They said, yeah, okay. When do you want to give us, tell us about your decision? I said, give me 1 day. They're like, 1 day? You can have 5 or 7. And I was, no, no, we do 1 day. Because, well, I would usually recommend to in this situation to not wait too long, because I think this can do like bad impression about, well, you're unsure, you don't want to do it or stuff like this. And well, the longer someone thinks about this topic, maybe the more things they will find that this is not good, this is not good, this is not good. But well, I wanted to have it decided pretty fast. Yeah, then wrote them the email, and that's how I got the internship. And basically, my work at this company, and basically to talk more about the position that I got and the work that I will do. Um, well, I will be, like I said, in this PR department thing, and I will usually do first the time that I'm in Germany here. I mostly do like some translation work, and I think they use this opportunity to kind of teach me how the public relations stuff works at that company. And then when I'm at Japan, I think they will give me some more work related to public relations or events in their case. And yeah, I will not say the name of the company because I don't know, I don't want to make it too public, but this is roundabout what I will do. And also they have like a office in Tokyo and another office in Chiba, right at the border between Tokyo and Chiba. And this is like pretty good for me because, well, I found something inside Tokyo. And yeah, this was like my experience basically on how I found this internship. And well, what can I say in the end about it? If you want to find an internship, it's really important to already know some people, to already have some good connection or some good impression somewhere. So I think really the most hardest part, not just about internships, but going into like this business world, is having your first contact with someone. Because if you already worked somewhere and if you already did a good impression there, from there on, these people will know someone that knows someone that knows someone that maybe needs you. So really be clear about what difference you can do, what difference you can also do as a foreigner compared to a Japanese person, for example, and really think about these things. Well, they didn't precisely ask me, well, you're a foreigner, what can you do compared to a Japanese person? But, well, I think it's good to think about these topics. And yeah, then I think you will find something. And yeah, I will work round about like 20 hours a week, 20 to 25. And if I calculate the payment they give for a month, like it will be barely enough compared with my save. Like if I add up my savings too, that I can survive. Well, I cannot live in Tokyo, so I will commute to Tokyo from Kanagawa. But usually the trains in Japan are pretty good, and the company also pays for your, let's say, traveling fees. So this is good too. And I don't have to go to the office every day. It's like just about 1 or 2 times a week. So for me, actually, this is pretty good because I'm looking forward to doing home office work inside Japan. I don't want to work directly inside a company. Well, I want to see how it is to always be inside the company, but um, well, if I think about my YouTube channel and other stuff that I want to do next to my work, it's more convenient for me to have home office. And so that was a good starting point. And that was also, well, I also had another company, which is a bigger company, and which I had a pretty good chance of going like in that company. But the problem is that I was thinking, well, if I start with that internship and if I have the like home office stuff, this already sets me up for later having more, well, an easier chance to get a home office work. If you say, oh, I already worked in home office, I already worked for a Japanese company, and maybe this can be good on the CV too. This was what I was thinking about the situation. And honestly, maybe I'm wrong with this, but I think if you have an opportunity, you should take it. And you shouldn't think too much about, well, what else could I get or how else could the future look like? Just take it and start from there. Because if you start somewhere from there on, it can just get better, in my opinion. If you give your best, if you make a good impression, and so on. So just take the best that you can take. So I had stories of other people, for example, their grades weren't good enough to do an exchange semester. So they just took a working holiday visa to Japan, connected with some people there, and then they found a job there and got like a 5 year working visa. Or I found other people from my study course that just quit their study course and went to Japan, and they just basically just drink alcohol with Japanese salarymen inside Germany, and then they got a good connection with someone and they gave them a job inside Japan. That is also a possibility. You see? Um, in my personal opinion, I wouldn't recommend to not study. If you have the possibility to study, I would advise you to do it because with a bachelor's degree, it is way easier to go inside Japan than if you don't have it. But if you're older, for example, if you don't have the money, because I know in many countries it's you're getting like 30 years of debt by just studying. And well, yeah, in this case, if you have the opportunity, do it, but don't feel demotivated because there are many other opportunities. Just try to get in connections with people, and then I think you'll find something. So yeah, this is my experience how I found that internship. I think I will do some videos about how that internship is, how the communication is. Um, right now, I think there will be some communication problems that will come up. I'm pretty sure about this because I just know in general the way in people in Germany talk and the way you talk in Japan, the kind of like kuki o yomu koto, like reading the air in Japan. I think this will get me in some trouble actually. But yeah, I will keep you up to date. Um, I will be in Japan from September, and basically from there I will start my work at that company. For that, I will do some home office inside Germany. Yeah, this is basically the situation. So yeah, if you want to know about how to find a job in Japan, some tips, my experiences, some experience that I hurt my environment. I will share it in the next video. And after that, I will do a video about visa. But for now, thanks for listening. Have a great day. また今度よろしくね。